I'm Shannon.
And I'm Holly.
And this is a Girls Gone Curious podcast, where we talk about things that make us curious. So grab your favorite drink, sit back and relax because your show is loading. Today's episode includes the following trigger warnings, mentioning topics of suicide, stalking, and murder. This podcast is not suitable for children. Please listen with care. This is part 20 of 50 states, 50 cases. Today we will be covering the states Rhode Island and South Carolina. We do apologize if we say any of the names or places wrong in today's cases.
Today's first case will take place in the state of Rhode Island. March 31st, 1990, a man made a call to the Johnston's Police Department, claiming and reporting that his wife, Doreen Marfeo, was missing. Doreen Ann Dobson, later known as Doreen Marfeo, was born on July 7, 1955, to parents Raymond and Laura Dobson. Doreen was said to be neat, punctual, and she cared about her looks. She attended high school in Johnston and also lived in Johnston most of her life. While attending college at the Rhode Island School of Design, she also worked in the personnel department. She was a purchasing director. Co-workers would say she was always at work and always early, and she always looked the same, dressed in a beautiful suit with matching shoes and perfect hair. Doreen met a man by the name Stephen Marfeo and began dating in 1976. She was 21 while he was 27 years old. Marfeo worked as an electroplater at a jewelry manufacturing firm. What attracted Doreen to Marfeo was his daredevil smile. Marfeo was a man who loved to work on muscle cars and also worked at the gym, some people calling him a gym rat. He said what drew him to Doreen was her beauty, class, and intelligence. Together they spent their time going on shopping sprees, eating a romantic dinner, and going on vacations. Friday, July 7th, 1978, Doreen and Marfeo got married after dating for 2 years. They moved into a house together in Johnston on Hartford Ave. Marfeo did have a previous marriage when he was 19, having 2 children in that marriage. Both those children lived with their mother after they divorced. Sometime around 1980, Doreen had an affair, confessing it to her older sister, who was 2 years older and also married. Doreen confessed she was thinking about divorcing Marfeo and running away with a different man. Her sister, Lorna, convinced her to break off the affair and return to Marfeo. In 1989, they celebrated their 11-year anniversary, but their relationship seemed rocky. In May of 1989, Marfeo hired a private detective to follow Doreen. He believed that she was cheating and seeing other men and didn't trust her. This detective followed her around for about 6 weeks, coming back to tell Marfeo that he was wasting his money because he found nothing. She was always where she said she would be, and he didn't spot any kind of affair. Marfeo would hire another private detective, this time having Doreen followed over the course of 8 months. Once again, this detective said the same thing. He found nothing on Doreen, At the time when the second detective was investigating, Doreen quit her job in '89, which didn't make a lot of sense to her coworkers. It was a good job, being an operation manager in the personnel department. All coworkers respected her, and she seemed to like her job. But Doreen did mention to some that she had to quit her job to work on her marriage with Marfeo, saying her and Marfeo were having problems. Marfeo would later say that Doreen never told him why she quit, only saying she mentioned a job-related problem and kept the rest a secret. Around this time is when he also said Doreen's personality began to change. She just stayed at home more often, never looking for a job. In an interview, Marfeo said that she seemed to be on the verge of a mental breakdown one night, saying she is becoming hysterical. She would get the shakes, then she'd get the drive heaves, and she'd go into the bathroom and everything. Every Saturday.
How does that make her having a mental breakdown?
I don't know.
Sorry.
It's just his opinion.
Yeah.
Every Saturday, Doreen would visit or call her mother, Laura. She would never miss visiting her or calling her. Even though there was a 41-year gap in age, their relationship was a close one. Believing it became even closer when her father passed away in 1978. On March 24th, 1990, Doreen made her normal visit to her mother. But Laura would later say that Doreen was unusually quiet. In an interview, she said, "I knew something was wrong." Doreen would leave her mother's house saying, "See you next week." But when the next Saturday came, she never showed up and never called either. That same Saturday, Marfeo called Laura that morning. Laura said something seemed off in the way he was talking to her. During that phone call, Marfeo didn't mention anything. But when he would call her again that afternoon, he would say that Doreen's missing. Marfeo hadn't seen her since the previous Thursday around noon, 48 hours prior to this phone call. Later that day, after the second phone call to Laura, Marfeo would report her missing on March 31st, 1990. A nationwide alert was issued to be sent out, to be on the lookout for Doreen Marfeo. According to Marfeo, this is what he told police. On Thursday, March 29th, he came home for lunch, like he normally does, around 12 p.m. His lunch break is about 20 to 30 minutes long. When he got there, Doreen was sitting on the couch watching TV. She was wearing regular blue jeans and a blue shirt. They made small talk until he had to head back to work. Marfeo said that everything seemed fine with Doreen. Other than being a little down and maybe sad, he didn't think anything was unusual, saying that it was normal with her feeling down, assuming it was just because she quit her job. He got home around 4:30, and noticed Doreen's car was there, a 1984 Ford Tempo. Going up to the front door, it was locked. Unlocking it and going into the house, Doreen was nowhere in sight. Marfeo thought that maybe she went for a walk, or met up with a friend, or even went shopping. Looking around the house, he noticed that her suitcase, some clothes, her Visa card, and about $600 from their safe was missing. Marfeo didn't call the police. He was assuming Doreen was taking a break, needed time alone to do whatever she needed to do. So he went to bed. Friday came and went with nothing happening. At some point, he also noticed that makeup, hair curlers, toothbrush, and her 2 cats were still at home, though. Beginning to worry when Saturday came, he called Laura and eventually the police department. He claims he didn't call anyone over the 2 days because he didn't want to worry anyone, saying that he believed she would come home when she is ready to. Police started with contacting her family and friends to see if they knew anything. They didn't. They reached out to hospitals, airlines, and taxi companies. Checking the Visa card that Marfeo claimed was missing, there was no activity. In their joint bank account, there was $50,000 untouched. Police looked into any possible affairs going on with both Marfeo and Doreen. There was nothing. Tips would come in claiming to have seen Doreen, but none of them were able to be confirmed. Marfeo offered a $5,000 reward for any information on Doreen. A week passed since she went missing, and the police made a surprise visit to Marfeo. Officers said that he was caught off guard, even saying he was sweating and looked nervous. They only collected a couple pieces of mail and writing samples. They also looked into Doreen's car and they found nothing. The day before the surprise visit, it stormed and rained, bad enough to where you wouldn't want to be out driving during the storm. Marfeo's car was in the garage, but the floor in the car was wet. Police asked him where he went, and Marfeo denied going anywhere. When walking around the house, police also found a pair of pants that were soaked from the knee down. Changing his story, Marfeo said that he went for a walk, and that's how the pants got wet. Later, the police would find out, on the day he claims he last saw Doreen, he took a 70-minute lunch break, 40 minutes longer than his normal break. Marfeo claims that he had car trouble, which caused him to be late. In June of 1990, 2 letters would arrive at the Johnston Police Department, both talking about Doreen. The first letter claimed to know about Doreen's affairs and listed the names of people she was having an affair with. The beginning of the first letter in 1990 went like this. Considering myself a good Christian and citizen.
Sorry.
I feel a moral obligation to impart my knowledge of Mrs. Marfeo. Although on the outside she personifies class, beauty, and professionalism, in reality she is nothing more than a cheap harlot. Her promotions were achieved by her sexual prowess rather than her leadership abilities. The letter then talked about a Christmas party that happened in 1988 at her work that Marfeo attended uninvited. While her husband was leaving in his Santa Claus suit on one side of the building, Doreen was on the other side with another man, his lips pressed against hers passionately. Police talked to all the people listed in the letter, and all of them denied having any romantic relationship with Doreen. The second letter then arrived a week after the first. Talked about the day Doreen went missing. It was all written in shorthand writing and went like this. Regarding Doreen Marfeo, missing person. Stephen Marfeo left his workplace, drove home to have lunch with his wife. There was no lunch. Doreen sleeping on the couch in the living room. Stephen got hot under the collar. He made for the couch and strangled Doreen. Stephen acted fast. He stuffed Doreen's shoes and handbag in a shopping bag and tied it around her waist. He wrapped the body in a blanket, secured it with clothesline rope. He deposited body illegible. Marfeo got in car, crossed the Providence line, 2 miles on narrow dirt road. He stopped and disposed wife's body in reeds in a pond. Marfeo returned to work. Flat tire excuse for extended lunch hour. Marfeo home at 4 p.m. On the phone calling police, reporting his wife missing. Marfeo is highly skilled in the fine art of deception. He can make a lie hear a ring of truth. Both letters were mailed from the Boston area and were written on a typewriter. They were addressed to the officer that was working on the case at the time. Wanting a professional opinion, police would send both letters to the Syracuse University. Dr. Murray Miron, a professor of psycholinguistics, believed Marfeo wrote the letters himself, saying, Stephen Marfeo is the person most likely to have authored these communications and to be the logical suspect in the murder of his wife. 4 more letters would arrive. I wasn't able to find anything on these letters other than 2 of them were handwritten and the other 2 were typed. In July of 1991, police would look into all the typewriters that Marfeo had access to, sending the letters and typewriters to a U.S. Postal Service. Comparing them to the letters, one matched the first letter. This typewriter was the one police found in Marfeo's mother's house. Marfeo was questioned and denied having anything to do with the letters. Eventually, he would hire an attorney and stop cooperating with the police. 3 years and 3 months would go by. The case going nowhere. Doreen still missing. Unsolved Mysteries aired an episode featuring Doreen's case on November 17th, 1993. Marfeo is featured in a 16-minute segment confidently speaking about what happened. He would end his interview saying, I'm getting really tired of the accusations and innuendos. Detective John Nardolello Jr., a lead detective in the case, said, There's no doubt in my mind that Stephen is responsible for his wife's disappearance. Doreen's sister, Lorna, said, I don't believe Stephen is guilty at all. There's no evidence. I beg to differ.
Mm-hmm.
Doreen's mom, Laura, would say, When I see the way he acts when the mail arrives, When the phone rings, he still thinks she's alive. But Laura would stop ruling Marfeo out as a possible perpetrator. She would also ask him point blank, "Did you kill her?" And every time, Marfeo would say no. In 1995, 5 years after Doreen went missing, Marfeo would begin to date a woman named Laura Vincent. For the next 4 years, they would break off the relationship and get back together multiple times. In March of 1999, Marfeo would break off their relationship for the last time. Soon after that, Laura would begin dating a man named Sal. And this is a side note, I am not putting in his last name for a reason. Just because he doesn't need his name dragged into this. Friday, July 30th, 1999, Marfeo would kill Laura and attempt to kill Sal. At the time, Marfeo was living with his mother. He told her he was going on a vacation for a couple of days to straighten out his life. His mother said that he was spending a lot more time at home because he wasn't dating anyone. Packing an overnight bag, Marfeo left his mother's house around 9:30. Driving his Pontiac Firebird, he parked near 103 Homewood Ave, Sal's house. Marfeo would wait until both Sal and Laura came home. As they were getting out of the car, Marfeo would appear with a 9mm Glock. He would shoot Laura multiple times in the head and torso, also shooting Sal in the head multiple times before he fled the scene. When police arrived at the scene, they found Sal leaning up against a retaining wall. Even though he was shot multiple times in the head, he was still conscious. He wasn't able to speak, but he would point to the still running car where Laura was. Laura was pronounced dead in the passenger seat of the car. Sal was rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery. By some miracle, he survived. Sometime after August 30th, he was discharged from the hospital. Sal was divorced with 6 kids and owned a used car dealership in North Providence. It was called Manville Motor Sales, and he has owned it since 1976. In this town, everyone was close. Sunday morning, Sal always ate at Cal's Corner restaurant, being friends with the owner, Gina. Gina would say that even though he was able to go home, Sal would have to go through multiple other surgeries. Another friend of Sal, the owner of a deli shop near his shop, said, "Just the sweetest guy. He always reached into his pocket to pay for other people. He was the best." Sal would live until the age of 71, still running his shop until he passed. Laura Vincent, also known as Lori, was 38 years old when she was killed. She was born in 1961 in Providence, Rhode Island. Laura's parents were Ronald H. Daigle, Sr. of Cranston, and Coral E. Dingle of North Providence. She was a single mother of 2. Growing up, she was one of 11 siblings. For 5 years, she worked at her sister's beauty salon, Ace in the Hole Hair Salon, as a manicurist. Laura was hardworking and independent. Her landlord would later say, "She was a very beautiful woman, inside and out. She was the nicest person in the world. We all loved her. I always said how lucky we were." He called her an ideal heaven-sent attendant. Sal, Gina, and Laura often hung out together, partying. They would ride motorcycles together. Gina said, "We laughed, we joked, we acted like a bunch of crazy idiots. And it won't ever be the same." Sal and Laura were in a honeymoon phase of their relationship. He would often go to a flower shop to buy Laura roses. A flower shop worker said, "He was the happiest I'd ever seen him, and it was because of her." Another local businessman would say, "It was the best thing that ever happened to the both of them." Police believe that Marfeo's motive was jealousy. He was friends with their group, and when he broke it off with Laura and she started dating Sal, he couldn't take it. Major Albert Di Cristofano, a police officer, said, "I think you can draw the conclusion that the motive was jealousy. What else could there be?" Laura's death was classified as a domestic violence. Saturday, July 31st, 1999, sometime between 3 to 4 a.m., a state trooper noticed a sports car parked in an unusual spot. It was a remote area in the woods, about 40 minutes northwest of Hartford, Connecticut. The officer called in the plate number, and the car was registered to a Stephen Marfeo, a 50-year-old man wanted for murder. It said he was armed and dangerous and shot 2 people in Rhode Island. He was 2 hours away from the crime scene. The officer called in backup, but didn't wait for them to arrive to approach the car. As he was walking towards the car, he was yelling out orders. Before he knew it, a shot rang out. Marfeo shot himself in the head. Medical assistants would arrive and take him to the hospital, where he would die. The shooting of Sal and Laura was an open and shut case. They knew he did it, and he was dead. In the car, police found a will and a letter stating how he wanted his funeral arrangements to go. He also wrote a suicide note, and in the note, Marfeo wrote, talking to his mother, it said the following: "I knew I would not live to be an old person all my life. But just recently, I realized I will die by my own hand. And unfortunately, I will take a couple of people with me. I know it's an insane thing to say, but I feel it's the only way it can be. I finally lost it. I don't want help. I must do what I have to do. Talking with a professional, you, or my friends, is not in the plans. I have committed myself to eliminate Sal, Lori, and me in that order. It is the only way. The more I think about it, the stronger I feel that it's justified. I realize that this is a sick person talking, but I finally crossed over, forever, to the dark side. I'm not afraid to die. I have nothing to live for." The place where he took his life was in rural Barkhamsted, Connecticut. It seemed like he had no ties to the area. Police said it wasn't a place that people stumbled upon. Detective Nardo Lello said, "I'm very interested in the spot where he took his own life." Tuesday, August 3rd, 4 days after the shooting, police spent 3 hours searching that area. They called in scent dogs, but unfortunately, they never found anything. Thursday, August 5th, they searched Marfeo's and Doreen's home on Hartford Ave. In the backyard was a shed, and they picked it up and moved it to check for any remains there. Nothing was found. Laura Thompson died in October of 2010 at the age of 96, never knowing what happened to her daughter. In the 2000s, she lived in Central Falls, Rhode Island. She had 4 cats, one being Doreen's, a white cat named Frosty. Doreen said, "Everybody loved her. She was so smart. I know if she were alive, she would have gotten in touch with me." If Doreen was alive today, she would be 70 years old. When she went missing, she was 5 foot and 6 inches tall and 110 pounds. She had pale skin with a freckled complexion. On one of her shins, she had a large chickenpox scar. Laura had medium-length brown curly hair. If she died in 1990, she would have been at the age of 33. If you have any information about Doreen, you can call the Johnston Police Department at 401-231-4210. Man.
He killed his wife.
Yeah. I have a couple things to mention. Actually, it's quite a lot of things to mention.
Fire away.
Nardo Lello's theory was Marfeo got home from lunch. Doreen said or was in the middle of leaving him. He got angry and strangled her. He then removed the body from the home and buried it somewhere. Which I think is a pretty
That's
accurate.
what I was thinking, yeah.
Nardo Lello spent his life working on this case. He truly believed it was Marfeo that did something. At one point, he even reached out to psychics. One of them said Doreen was alone in a dark, cold place. He believed them, but nothing could be done with just that information. Before committing suicide, Marfeo and Nardo Lello would often run into each other, being from a small town and a small state in general. One time, Nardo Lello followed Marfeo until he was in his driveway, and he said, "Do you think it's time to tell the truth yet about your wife?" Marfeo responded with, "You're a nice guy, but you're in the wrong business." Very weird to me. One of the videos I watched on this case was of a guy who used to be a police officer and was a PI for many years. And I think he's still a PI. When talking about the case, he said, as a PI, he personally dealt with a lot of affair cases. At most, he would spend a week on a case. Most of the time, it was only a couple hours he would work. He thought it was really weird that Marfeo hired 2 PIs for months.
Yeah, so did I. I thought that was
That's
odd.
weird.
Especially the second one for 8 months.
Mm-hmm. It's like he was trying to desperately find something for some reason.
Made me wonder if he was having an affair.
Yeah, that's true. In the same video that I watched of the same guy, he mentioned the suicide note that he wrote to his mom. Marfeo confessed to shooting Sal and Laura, but didn't mention anything to do with Doreen. He thought it was because since it was a letter to his mom, he wouldn't have mentioned Doreen if he really did do it. His mom knew Doreen personally. I think the thing that he was trying to say is that his mom would see him as an even worse guy because she personally knew Doreen.
Yeah. Like she was close to her.
And like in his letter, his suicide letter, he's just like talking about himself and why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And feel bad for me, basically.
Yep, absolutely.
Marfeo hired people to follow Doreen, not trusting her, always wanting to know where she was. But when she goes missing for 2 days, he does nothing.
Bingo. That's one thing that popped into my head too. Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Especially having a PI for 6 weeks and then the 8 months.
Yeah.
And then she goes missing for 2 days and you
do nothing because, she probably just needs to blow off some steam. She needs some time by herself.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah.
With Doreen and her mother's relationship, I don't think she would have ran away without contacting her mother. Her mom was getting up there in age, and she wasn't completely healthy. So, personally, I don't think Doreen ran away.
I don't think so either. I think he killed her.
Yeah, I'm like 99.9%.
Yeah.
There's that 0.01.
Yeah. So something I wanted to touch on is, was he abusive to Doreen? The reason why I ask is because Doreen's mom, Laura, right? Knows something is wrong the weekend before she goes missing. She can feel it, she can sense it, whatever it may be, but she doesn't ask her, like, what's wrong, or do you want to stay longer? And I'm not blaming the mom at all. I'm just saying, like, why didn't she ask her, like, what's going on? And was he, and I don't mean there's all different types of abuse. I don't necessarily mean physical, but was he, like, verbally abusive to his wife?
Yeah. I didn't see anything on that, but I feel like he was.
Yeah.
And personally, I feel like he made her quit her job.
That's what I was wondering.
So she could stay home and he could control her.
Yeah.
That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Like really happened.
Yeah. We're on the same page there.
And he said, she didn't actually tell me why she left her job and she was secretive and all that. And I'm just like, nah.
Well, we're talking about secrets and stuff, but yet he has her followed for almost a year. Yeah. Basically. Is it so he could learn her routine? Yeah. And not just to see if she was having an affair?
This is just like a thought and a theory. It's nothing serious, but like I got a weird vibe from her sister. Lorna.
Same. Okay, so it wasn't just me. I had that. Yeah.
Yeah. I just feel something's not right with that. Especially with her saying, oh, you need to stay in the relationship.
Yeah.
If someone comes to me and says, oh, I'm having an affair, then I would tell them, break it off because obviously you don't want to be with them anymore.
Right. Quit staying married.
Yeah.
Get a divorce.
Like we said 1,000 times, if you're not happy, just get a divorce.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the things I was thinking of too. I just didn't write it down, but
It's like, she just gives me an off vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with her saying, like, I don't think it was him because there's no evidence.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of evidence there.
Yeah.
The letters are not 100%, but pretty much proven that it was most likely him that wrote it. Pretty
freaking...
Yeah. And he would be the only one to know what really happened.
Right.
Especially with his 70-minute break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he had an excuse for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to go for a walk on a day that's like...
storming out enough to where you don't even want to... You shouldn't even be driving.
Where you can't see out the window.
Well, another thing, the fucking car and ground in the garage is wet.
Yeah.
They're saying
and only in that section underneath the car is wet. But you didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But then you went on a walk when they found your pants.
Yeah.
And they were
You changed your
wet.
story.
Yeah. And so that's why I was wondering where he killed himself, if that had some significance. And I know the police searched, but...
It was only a 3-hour search, and there is... I believe there's a decent forest around there.
So it makes me wonder, did he kill her and then take her to that spot and then go and check on, because it was raining so bad, did he go and check to make sure that no evidence came up to the surface and that's why he was wet?
Yeah, I don't know. Or he could have waited to bury the body until that storm happened.
Right, because who's going to be out and about, really?
Yeah.
I mean, they can't see. It's very unsafe to drive.
The video that I did watch with the previous detective and PI, he did mention that, like, the statement that the officers were making, that it wasn't a known place and it wasn't a place that you just stumble upon.
Right.
He did mention that he had to stumbled upon it, whether it was actually taking her body there or if he didn't take her body there, he still stumbled upon it. So, I mean, that makes a little sense to me that that statement's not quite accurate.
Right.
Because, I mean, he had to find it somehow.
Yeah.
So, whether he found it, put his wife's body there, and then went back there to kill himself, or if he just went there and killed himself.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's been 35 years.
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't know if we'll ever be able to find what happened. Very sad.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure the husband did it.
Me too. Today's second case will take place in the state of South Carolina. This is the case of Alexis Ware. Alexis Ware was born in 1992. Her mom's name is Alberta Gray Simpkins. By the age of 29, Alexis was living in Greenville, South Carolina. Alexis has 2 siblings, a sister and a brother, whose name is Travis Ware. Alexis had 2 children, a daughter and a son. Alexis was a hairstylist that was highly sought after. She was so talented that people would travel from all over South Carolina and other states just to get the opportunity to have her do their hair. Alexis had big dreams and a plan to make those dreams a reality. Her goal was to open a boutique in Atlanta, Georgia. Alexis had the inventory and racks purchased for when that last step was made. She would be set. Alexis wanted more for her family, and she was going to continue to work hard to get it. There are negatives, though, when you are well known. There is always someone running their mouth thinking it is okay to spread false information, or the individuals who feel that they are entitled to you. Alexis had said that there were guys that she referred to as creeps because of their comments and messages. On January 28, 2022, Alexis packed up her kiddos and went to spend the weekend with her mom. Alberta stated that they talked, laughed, cooked, all of the normal activities, but something seemed off. Alexis would take phone calls, and she seemed upset after the calls. Alberta asked Alexis if she was okay, and she just shrugged it off like it was nothing. She did mention accidentally that she didn't know if she would make it to her 30th birthday. At one point over the weekend, Alexis did tell her mom one of the callers she referred to them as the devil. During this visit, Alexis had purchased hundreds of dollars in lottery tickets. This was not in character for Alexis at all. Her family and friends all said she wouldn't spend money like that. Sunday, January 30th, 2022, Alexis loaded her kiddos up and they headed back to their home in Greenville. Alberta wanted to FaceTime Alexis and the kids to make sure they got home okay. At 3:30 p.m., Alexis did answer and told her mom she would call her later. She said she was exhausted and was going to take a nap. It seems that sometime around that same time or earlier, Alexis went to a neighbor's house and was talking really fast to them. The neighbor said she was kind of jumping all around at what she was saying. This was odd only because she seemed rattled and she didn't know the neighbor that well. That evening, Alexis called TJ Patterson. TJ is the kiddo's father and Alexis's ex. She asked him about seeing the kids and they were going to meet up at a 7-Eleven in Anderson. This was a typical thing for both parents to do. Cameras at the location do show both of them at the gas station at 7:30 p.m. There is a truck and trailer blocking off part of it, so there isn't a clear-cut view, but there are other cameras that have a better viewpoint. The kiddos jump out of Alexis's car and jump into TJ's car. It appears that both take off in the same direction. Nothing appears to be alarming. There is a traffic cam at the stoplight close to 7-Eleven. The camera shows both vehicles are there. TJ stated that he saw Alexis on her phone. Once the light turned green, she went around his car and then sped off in another direction. He tried to call her multiple times, but she didn't answer. TJ then called Alberta, and Alberta said that she didn't know where Alexis would be going, and she wasn't even aware that they were meeting up tonight to exchange the kiddos. With everything that was said and how Alexis was acting over the weekend, Alberta begins to worry. At 8:15 p.m., Alexis's phone would ping 30 miles away in Abbeville. Traffic cameras would then catch her car in Augusta, Georgia. Augusta is about an hour and 20 minutes from Abbeville. From there, her car was traced back up to Anderson at an apartment complex. On February 2nd, 2022, a vehicle was parked on the wood line of an active logging area. A person driving by called the police, and once they arrived, it was determined to be Alexis's red Honda Accord. Alexis's car had a large amount of mud caked on it. Inside the car, there was a change of clothes, her ID, purse, phone, and the lottery tickets. Outside of the vehicle, Alexis's black hair bonnet was on the ground. She was wearing this on the footage from the 7-Eleven she was at when she exchanged her kiddos. Alexis was nowhere to be found. Canines, air support, cadaver dogs, search and rescue, and volunteers all began searching for Alexis. TJ would be interviewed by the police and was ruled out as a suspect. This case is now over 3 years old, and no new information has been released regarding any leads on Alexis's whereabouts or a suspect. Alexis is a mother, daughter, sister, and friend. Her family needs her back home. If you saw anything, even if you think it is unimportant or small, say something. This could make all the difference in this case, and any case, truthfully. Anyone with any information is asked to contact the Anderson County Sheriff's Office at 864-260-4405. You can also call 1-888-CRIME-SC, so CRIMESC. If you'd prefer to go online, you can report any information by going to www.andersonareacrimestoppers.com or www.p3tips.com. Crime Stoppers is currently offering a $5,000 reward. Some side notes. Alexis had set up an appointment at the Georgia Lottery office for Monday morning, January 31st, but she never showed. The individuals who looked at the lottery tickets believed that they were not winners, so I'm not sure why there was an appointment for Monday morning for the lottery tickets, and it looked to be all scratch-offs.
That's weird.
Fingerprints were recovered from the vehicle, but the details have not been released. Police have not released who was driving the vehicle up and down through South Carolina to Georgia and back up. So there was several traffic cam footage, I guess, and so that leads me to believe that Alexis might not have been driving it at some point. Or maybe she was driving it and there was someone in the passenger seat. I don't know.
That's kind of one of my questions is what was she doing in, what is it, Abbeville?
Yeah.
And Augustus.
Yeah.
Augusta. Sorry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's weird. I'm thinking, like, did she know someone there? Or, like, you said that maybe she wasn't driving?
Yeah.
Very weird.
Alberta, Alexis's mom, has been getting messages from someone stating that they know where she is. So I don't know if that's been investigated. I'm sure it has been. I just, and a lot of people could say stuff just because, I mean, look how many cases we've looked into, and people are, oh, we know where she's at, or we know where he's at, and they give all this information and ends up wasting time. Yeah. A couple of sources said that there was a black pickup truck that Alexis had stated had been following her for weeks. No information was given regarding that black pickup, so I don't know if that was ever looked into, but that is also something else. Like someone said in some of the footage, is it possible that the black pickup truck is in there? The one truck is kind of blocking the view, so was the truck behind it? Did she see the truck since she was on the phone? Did they call her and she sped off because she was trying to protect her kids?
So many things.
Yeah. South Carolina's Law Enforcement Division, the Attorney General's Office, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security Investigations, and the FBI all have pieces of information from this case. The FBI did say that it appears that she wasn't kidnapped across state lines, so at that particular moment there wasn't a whole lot they could do. But they still have pieces of the case. So I don't exactly know what that means or how much information each department has. So going into this year, on January 27th of this year, Alexis's family is trying to get the Alexis Ware Act passed. This legislation would allow families of missing persons to request that the State Law Enforcement Division take over cases that haven't been solved within a year. So I'm assuming that is, since it's at the state level, they might have more resources for them to investigate. So some more information about Alexis on the day that she went missing. Alexis was 29 at the time of her disappearance. Her nickname is Lex. At that time, her height was between 5'4" and 5'6", and weight between 215 and 230 pounds. She does have a full set of dentures. She was wearing a black jacket, purple shirt, blue jeans, black Crocs, clogs, and a black hair bonnet. Alexis has some tattoos. She has a rose on one hand, leaf-like feather on her other hand, footprints and the date 11/30/19 on her arm, flowers on her hip and thigh, paw prints on her other thigh, a cheetah print pattern on her shoulder, a cross between her breasts, and there are other tattoos on her back, calf, abdomen, both sides of her chest, forearms, and inside of her wrist. Alexis's vehicle was recovered, but for detail purposes, her car is a red 2019 Honda Accord Sport. It has tinted windows and at the time had South Carolina license plate number 663 35 and S. She does also have both of her cheeks are pierced, like dimples.
She has like the dimple
Yeah.
piercings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So questions, thoughts?
I got a list over here.
Good.
First thing, who was the devil that she was claiming?
She didn't give any information to her mom or any close friends. No one has come forward and said that they knew who, or at least no details have been released saying that they knew who the devil was.
Okay. It was obviously someone.
Yeah.
That got me thinking, was she receiving death threats?
Mm-hmm. I think she definitely was being threatened for sure. There is just the way she was acting, like when she would get a phone call or a text message. I mean, the way her mom describes her being like jumpy, kind of jittery after each, like when a certain text message or a phone call would come in.
And then she told her mom that she didn't think she was going to live past 30.
Yeah, so someone's definitely threatening her.
Yeah. And she was 29 when she went missing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I guess, like, the biggest thing is who was messaging, who was calling.
Mm-hmm.
There obviously has to be evidence behind that. Because even if you delete messages, they're not really deleted.
Yeah. Well, that was my thought, or in question. Like, what about Alexis's phone? Who was calling her all weekend? What about the text messages and the messages on her socials? Like, have any of that... I'm sure it's been looked into, but there's got to be clues in there. There's got to be some information in there that is extremely important to this case.
Maybe the police are keeping it under wraps.
That's what I was wondering too, is if they have information and they
have a possible suspect. And I mean, she's still missing her. She hasn't been found. I pray that she is still alive. But I think my other question was, where was her vehicle found? Like, in what city? I know she went to Abbeville and then Augusta.
It was found...
I know it was by a lodging.
Yeah, it was by a active logging area. So it kind of makes me wonder, like, how did nobody see it? And where did all the mud come from?
Yeah. Was it back, like, where she lived? Or was it in one of those cities?
I think it was in Anderson.
Anderson?
Yeah, which is... She went to an apartment... I don't know if she went there. I just know that there was... Her vehicle was spotted at the Anderson apartment complex.
Okay.
A couple of times. Yeah, I'm assuming it was in Anderson because that was the last place her vehicle was spotted. And then besides, once it got to the area where it was found.
Obviously something was happening up until she went missing.
Yeah, they did say that there wasn't any like broken glass, or the car didn't look like it was like the door was ripped open or anything like that. So I'm not sure.
Didn't look like there was a struggle.
Yeah.
So weird. So maybe she knew the person.
Yeah.
I don't know, but something was obviously going on with her. With her buying the lottery tickets and then her saying, I'm not going to make it past 30.
Yeah.
And I just hope that police can find something.
Me too.
And hopefully they're doing something about it.
The police department did state that they are actively investigating this case. So I guess take with that what you will.
Yeah. Has there been search parties?
Yes. I don't know if there's been any continued search parties since that day, but once her vehicle was found, there was a search party and they combed over
area?
miles. Yeah, okay. Miles of area.
I'm thinking they should almost search everywhere where her car was spotted on video, but that might take a while.
Yeah. because there was a lot of, and the other thing too is I wondered is her vehicle, I didn't mention this earlier, but when she had contacted TJ, she said she was going to 7-Eleven because she didn't have a lot of gas. I can't tell if I don't know if the time frame that they were there that she actually put gas in her car. And if that's the case, she definitely wouldn't have had enough to get from about an hour and a half away and all the driving around in between. Mm-hmm. So there had to have been a gas station that she stopped at, or whoever was in the car stopped at some point and got gas.
Yeah. I'm assuming she got a message off her phone or a call off her phone when TJ seen her take off.
Yeah.
And something happened after that. Yeah. I think that was all my questions.
Yeah, that was all mine.
A lot of them, ours was the same. Like,
yeah.
What about the phone? What about this?
I mean, the phone is such a huge thing, and I imagine
there's got to be something on there.
There has to be. And I did check out some of her socials, and there is, I'm not going to talk about any of
what it says.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about anything about what it says. If you're interested, you can always go and look. It's lots of support and love and hope. And there are some individuals who are spreading hate, and I'm not going to give
credit to any of them or anything.
Yeah.
A lot of questions for this case. If anyone does have any information on Alexis, you can contact the Anderson County Sheriff Office at 864-260-4405. If you know any information on Doreen, you can call the Johnston Police Department at 401-231-4210. Our hearts go out to the victims in both these cases and all the individuals affected. With that is all we have for today. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions or comments, you can find us on Spotify and Instagram at GirlsGoneCuriousPodcast. Until next time.